once we talk about adventure sports, primarily there are three broad categories of adventure sports. They are either water-based, land-based, inclusive of mountaineering, and then airborne part of adventure sports, which is considered one of the most challenging, both in terms of your physical ability and mental resilience. So we are fortunate to have President of Pakistan Hand Gliding and Paragliding Association, the founding president, living legend, Mr. Sajjad Shah. Sir, kindly if you could come on stage. He has the singular honor of being first Pakistani pilot, and since then, he is into promotion of this particular segment. Lastly, we have Air Commodore retired Shahid Nadeem. He is from Air Force, an ex-colleague, obviously. His association with winter sports are almost, I would say, lifelong. As base commander at Naltar, he was the project director of developing and then maintaining an international standard ski resort, which he did very well, hosted a number of national and international events, and after retirement, he devoted himself for promotion of winter tourism. He is a known name locally and in the region. His work is acclaimed, particularly in areas of Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Jammu and Kashmir. May I request Mr. Shahid Nadeem to kindly come on stage. And we would also be joined by Ms. Naila Kiani, who is obviously doesn't need any introduction. She is in recognition of her adventure sports contribution. She has been awarded Sitara Imtiaz by Government of Pakistan, and it is said about her that no mountain is too high for her. And she has submitted 11 out of 14 highest peaks in the world. So once she is available online, inshallah, we would have her report. So, sir, starting from you, it's my privilege to ask you a question. What needs to be done to promote, and what should be our strategy to attract more foreign trekkers and mountaineers to visit Pakistan?
First of all, my gratitude to PDDC, who were the flag carriers on this subject all along, and more so to Aftab. He has done tremendous work and brought a revolution. I was quite amazed to hear about the figures of domestic tourism that has come up to 96%. If we look back 25 years, it was just in the reverse order. Whatever little tourism we had in this country, and especially the first beginning started from the early British explorers who went mainly spying around the higher passes so that they could stop, or at least they would know, trace the Russians probably coming into this region. So from 1890s, the history of tourism into this country starts with adventure. I was sitting here yesterday, and a lot of people, even today, mentioned the tiny little bit part of adventure in the whole cake of tourism that we are talking about, obviously, but it was adventure tourism that brought Pakistan on the map of tourism. I also give the credit to the foreigners who studied about Pakistan and its potential, mainly the nature, mountain kingdom of Gilgit-Baltistan and Chitral, that God has blessed us with so much wealth, mountain wealth, people were able to come by themselves. I've been lucky to visit about 62 countries. It's not that I was born on this piece of land that I'm claiming that, but actually there is hardly any comparison to this piece of land known as Pakistan, starting from the virgin beaches, this wonderful desert area in between, amazing cultures all around, the diversified, that is our subject of today. Actually, I'm sitting in a wrong discussion group. I should have been sitting with the earlier one. But anyway, God has blessed this country with so much diversification in terms of natural resources, beauty, culture, you name it. In 76 years as a nation, we have not been able to present Pakistan as one of the finest destinations to the whole world. We brought the Buddhist tourists in the middle of summer all over south when it was extremely hot. So our priorities in terms of tourism, we were talking about a couple of business colleagues earlier on. We kept on saying, inshallah, things will be better. But most of us have lived our lives. Over the decades, things have never improved for tourism. When I'm talking about tourism, I'm talking about the foreign tourism. In most countries, quite interestingly, first the domestic tourism started, developed, and then on those footprints, foreign tourism quite often came second. But here it is totally reversed. I fail to understand the reasons. Giving you an example, in 2014 probably maximum 8,000 Pakistani tourists were visiting northern areas. But the very next year, 1.2 million tourists, tsunami of these tourists, people were forced to sleep in their cars, mosques, schools, open gardens. People were not ready, so infrastructure was not even 15 to 20% able to meet. So it was quite an amazing, to me it was quite unhealthy. Till today I am not able to understand the reasons. Probably it was Babu Sahib's opening, and I think the country was going through hard times after 9/11. People wanted to go to some place. Earlier on, someone was saying, Masood Sahib was saying that probably in 10 years we will not even talk about northern areas, and I quite agree with him. Unfortunately, we did not learn lessons. I'm unfortunately going here and there from my subject. We did not learn lessons from Swat, what we did with this most beautiful, we call it Switzerland of Pakistan. What we did to Swat and then to Gagan, Naran, those valleys, and then now Hunza is overrun, to which I belong. I was lucky to be born in the northern end of Hunza, very close to Chinese border. Domestic tourism is overrun. Hunza is overrun by domestic tourism, and I quite agree with Masood Sahib. The way things are, ugly development, concrete structures without any planning. I haven't visited Hunza for the last 5 years. I am shocked to see what is going on there. I think it is the local leadership, and of course the government comes first without any planning, and then slowly I can see that is what is happening to Baltistan with all these flights coming in. I really hope that Skardu is, we still have time to plan things. So, talking about foreign tourism, Air Vice Marshal Malik Sahab, To be honest, earlier on, I was very happy to listen to a Korean lady here. She was talking my heart out. We are quite often shy to talk about our own issues, but in today's world, I think we cannot hide whatever is happening. There are biased foreign travel advisories that are the number one enemy of tourism to Pakistan. And I must say the governments over the years have not done enough to address those, to talk to the embassies concerned, because my apologies if some foreign diplomats are sitting here. They get more money, the more they make it dangerous, they get more money. And Pakistan has every reason. We make sure that you have some reason to make it a difficult destination to visit. And I do not blame the foreign offices of Korea or any other countries around the world, but I think the embassies sitting here, they send out, of course there are unfortunate incidents, we all face it here, but those are, blown out of proportion. And I still remember all the tour operators sitting here, maybe they remember about 20 years ago when there was a Ministry of Tourism. Again, I'm sorry I'm going away from the topic. 18th Amendment, to me as a Pakistani, is one of the worst things that has happened to me in my lifetime. It has taken away the tourism ministry. With that, the subject itself has become an orphan. We do not have anybody in this country responsible for a tourism policy. And that's why you do not see the provincial tourism ministries hardly matter. First of all, they have their own challenges, but we need to have a tourism ministry in this country. 18th Amendment has taken away the education ministry. It has touched the foundations of this country. 18th Amendment. So going back to tourism, I think what we really need is a body, a tourism ministry or a top level body who should be responsible enough to make decisions and make implementations. Earlier on, everyone said that we have wonderful policies, but those are never implemented. Visa policies, finest. I do not feel hesitant and shy to mention that Imran Khan, all the way from Bhutto's time, Imran Khan was very open and he knew inside out of tourism. He introduced a wonderful visa policy online, but unfortunately we have bottlenecks. So, unfortunately, his mind was not translated because of the babus. Please do not mind if there are bureaucrats sitting here. Again, bureaucracy is the enemy of tourism, sir, coming back. So I personally think we need to get the image. First of all, the country's image in the entire region is a challenging one. And then the policies need to be implemented, starting with visa. It is high time that we should give visa upon arrival, like Nepal. If I go as a Pakistani, even as a Pakistani, I pay $13 and I get 1 month visa at the airport. And I think we need to, I am mentioning Nepal because the mountain wealth we share. These are two countries which share this mountain wealth. India in between, as you know, Himalaya connects us. That's why Nepal is in comparison, although they are 50 years ahead of us in so many ways. Nepal is about 50 years ahead of us in terms of tourism, whether it is mountain or whatever. They are ahead of us. So I think Nepal is a good example. And then Bhutan is another example. When I talk about overrunning the country, I think Bhutan is one of the finest examples of tourism in the region. They allow only restricted number of tourists, about 10,000 in a year, and they only allow people who pay in advance $200 per day. Only then people can go to Bhutan. So I think we have these couple of examples. We can learn some lessons.
Thank you very much, sir, for your very candid opinion and valuable recommendations. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Ms. Naila Kiani on line. Naila, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you very much. Naila, you being a full-time working professional and dedicated mother having family commitments, your achievements for this mountain have been remarkable. As a role model for our half of the population, the female segment, what are your recommendations to promote this segment in our women food?
First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much to PTDC, Sir Aftab Rana, and it's an honor to be in the presence of legends. And I just heard Sir speak about tourism in general, so I feel like a baby in comparison to him to share my views. But I'll share my views as a female.
You yourself are a legend and pride for us.
Thank you, but I'm humble at the same time. So basically to promote female adventurers and generally female to participate in sports, I think number one thing we need to do is safety, to create a safe environment, because the first thing, speaking to other women, and the first challenge that I had to overcome was that we struggle to get our families to agree. A lot of women actually struggle, or girls struggle to get permission from their families. Main reason is safety. So, I'm very proud to say that in north of Pakistan, in Gilgit-Baltistan, safety is a lesser concern. So, if anybody asks me outside of Pakistan, is it safe to go solo? I'd say go for it, please. But I cannot say the same for some of the other areas. So, I think that's number one. And I'll keep my answers summarized because I know the other panelists too. I think the other thing is harassment. So again, I'm prioritizing these because other issues are very much linked to tourism in general. But I'm talking about these because I don't think these are talked about enough. Harassment is again an issue, and we need to raise awareness because the issue is people in general don't know that harassment is not only physical. Harassment, if you allow me to say it openly, is not sexual. Harassment is actually verbal too. If you're staring at somebody, if you're following somebody, if you're saying cheesy comments, and it's very common in to be honest, in our society. I think we need to raise awareness that what is harassment and what are the implications, and legally how can it put people into legal trouble, basically, because people don't know. Even online harassment, people don't know when they are harassing somebody online or a female online, they don't know how this can put them into trouble legally. So I think that harassment, although it's not directly linked, it's very much, the awareness around this is very much needed, so female and their families feel safer to travel, not just to travel, but to participate in sports, adventure sports. I think that's why I prioritize safety and harassment first. I think awareness about sports and adventure sports in general too, because I think so in Scandinavia, I think it's Denmark or Norway. They have outdoor education is mandatory as part of their education system. So from very young age, even when the students are doing A levels, O levels, it's outdoor education. It's very much embedded into their education system. So they get scored, they get marks based on whether they went on a hike, how did they perform. So I think if we introduce that, because outdoor. Love for outdoor is honestly, it's not part of our society. Of course, there are many people who love outdoor, who love adventure, but not the whole, not a massive majority. They don't know the benefit. They don't know what do we get out of being outdoor. So I think that awareness as part of education is very much needed. And apologies if it's been repeated. I'm trying to talk about the points which I think might not have been talked about. And also, one more thing is introduce sports and adventure sports in smaller areas. So there are clubs and societies in bigger cities, but I'm aware of a project that I was involved in Skardu, Ascend Athletics, where they picked 10 girls from Skardu, and these are the women who, when I met them first, no confidence at all, and they were given climbing training and other soft skills, basically to make them leaders, future leaders. So I saw a huge improvement in their personalities, and what that does is basically, if you pick women from smaller towns, the difference in their personalities can be seen by others in the smaller areas. So I remember those girls telling me that their family, not their immediate families, but their relatives had an issue with why are these girls going for climbing. But when they saw the difference in what this training made an impact on their personalities, now they're going to universities and colleges and training other girls on different topics and making changes. So we need to do that. We shouldn't just focus on Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, because there are so many other activities happening. We need to integrate, we need to go and create these clubs and societies or projects, smaller projects in smaller areas, because that's where the bigger issue is. We have issues in general in Punjab, in the bigger provinces, but really go into focus on the smaller areas too. And also I think we should focus on both mix. So if we have expedition, if we are creating a team to go on an adventure trip, we should have both mix, because I think we shouldn't just segregate women and men separate. So whoever wants to be part of a mixed group, do that, because I think the skills we gain from being with the other gender are very important in our real life. And also create these sort of expedition for women only, because some women or their families are not comfortable with mixed group. So I think these are the things, and I think lastly I would say media plays a massive role anyway in general, but there's not enough focus on from media on these. They can do a lot to promote adventure sports for women. They can do it for, of course, both gender or Pakistanis in general, but I think there's not enough done. And I don't watch Pakistani drama, series, soap operas, to be honest. I always see women crying. There needs to be focus of media, and we need to help promote adventure series or some sort of program where we inspire women to participate in adventure sports.
Naila, you live abroad. You live abroad and also extensively travel. What is your take on utilizing this opportunity of you being a role model to promote and using this as an instrument to promote the true image of Pakistan and brand Pakistan abroad, particularly in the female enthusiasts of adventure sports?
So when I first started going to North Pakistan, not many people know my first peak that I picked to climb was in Nepal, because I knew more about Nepal living outside of Pakistan than I knew about Pakistan. Of course I know now. I've been to North Pakistan, to the mountains, so many times that I can write a book about it. But my first peak that I picked was in Nepal, just because of how much Nepal is being promoted outside, and how much foreigners or people outside of Pakistan or people outside of this region, Asian region, know about Nepali mountains compared to Pakistani mountain. So then my plan got cancelled in COVID, and then I thought, why not Pakistan? I'm from Pakistan. I want to go to Pakistan, and I want to show my network, people around me. That time I was just a professional working for a bank, and I thought I'll show my colleagues how beautiful Pakistan is. So I went to K2 base camp, and then I started climbing in Pakistan, and my people around me were shocked. They had no idea how, we have massive peaks. We have 8,000, and we have, hundreds and thousands of high peaks. So even I didn't know that a few years ago. Now the awareness people are slowly getting to know. Even people in Pakistan are slowly getting to know, because I get surprised. People ask me, where's Nana Parbat? Pakistanis are asking me, where's Nanga Parbat? I never expected that they wouldn't know where Nanga Parbat is. So I think, so in general, I think what needs to be done is, I'm sure this has been talked about in general, and wider PR and promotion. So I think there's a risk because in general we don't have infrastructure to have a huge influx of tourists coming in. I know that, and I don't know how much what the discussion around it. So we can't really openly start promoting Pakistan in general until we work on the infrastructure. But what we can do, and that's what Sir Nazir Sabir said earlier, that Pakistan is known for adventure travel. So if we start promoting the adventure travel, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done, but we still have kind of enough, if we talk about trekking and wild adventure in the mountains, I think that's not being done properly, because I live outside and like Sir Nazir Sabir said, he's traveled to many countries. I've also traveled to 40 plus countries, and I see Thailand, I've seen India, I've seen so many countries, from this region being promoted in TV channels outside, in airline and everywhere. I hardly see Pakistan. So I think that needs to be done, and if this question is related to female in general, how do we promote female tourists or female adventurers from outside? So I think again it goes back to safety and harassment, because a lot of time female adventurers, some of them are solo, some come with friends. The main issue is, are we going to be safe? So we can show them whether it's some sort of PR or ads outside of Pakistan, and we can show them through people like me. So it's not just me who's doing climbing in north, leaving family. There are other females too, climbers or trappers. We can show their stories. We can bring in foreigners. I think a little bit of that was done on YouTube. We had some influencers coming to Pakistan, but we need to do that on a bigger scale, because there are areas where we can have female tourists and they're safe. Not everyone is safe, I will agree, but they are, north is very safe. So we need to show more role models, we need to show more influencers, and we need to go even outside of YouTube. We need to get bigger platform, I don't know, Netflix or Amazon Prime, and show female traveling in Pakistan, doing different types of sports in Pakistan, and promote it that way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us. You can stay online if you like, and I will continue with the other panelists. Abu Zafar Sahab, I will state the question. What needs to be done to promote adventure tourism, particularly in our youth, which forms a large percentage of our population?
Thank you very much. I am thankful to PTDC for providing us an opportunity to say a few words about adventure sports in Pakistan, particularly about mountaineering and trekking. As the moderator has asked about what should be done, the things are to be done for promotion of tourism, and we are discussing all the day. There should be some good strategy, plan and implementation. That is a very simple answer. But I think when we talk about mountaineering and trekking and other adventure sports, there are a lot of more things. The concept is much more complicated, because we have multiple stakeholders, particularly as pointed out by Nazir Ahmed Sabir, that devolution after devolution there is no one, it became the orphan, particularly for the youth of Pakistan. Because before devolution, Ministry of Tourism was taking care of this. Although the organization or clubs like Alpine Club of Pakistan, I am representing here, that was National Sport Federation. And we should understand that the difference between sports and tourism, which is generally confused, and with the passage of time, that has taken a new shape. For example, in the beginning, the mountaineering was just a component and a part of tourism only. But with the passage of time, it has developed and grown and recognized as a sport. And it has been recognized, it has formed its international federation, which is recognized by International Olympic Committee. So, after the revolution, before the revolution, Ministry of Tourism was taking much more care about such clubs and such activities for the youth of Pakistan. They were providing a lot of support, financial supports, resource, and so many things to the Alpine Club of Pakistan, Adventure Foundation, and many more similar organizations. Unfortunately, after the revolution, the things get worse, and the organization like Alpine Club of Pakistan are more dependent on Pakistan Sports Board. They are much more focused on competitive sports rather than this mountaineering. Although they are providing some sort of sports, and we are gathering that sport for the youth to come to the mountains. But still, we feel that we need a lot of things to do for engaging youth. Just I say, after a couple of years' experience going to different educational institutions, as pointed out by the moderator in the beginning, to attract the youth this challenge sport. We were not so much successful. However, we have recently designed a program that is STEP program, Sports Tourism Education Program, and its pilot project has already been launched in Islamabad with the help of Federal Directorate of Education, wherein 400 schools and colleges, about 0.25 million students are studying, and we are creating an awareness, and I think it is one of the important point which has been pointed out by Naila as well. You need to create awareness not only for the female, but for the young boys who are much prone towards screen and restrict themselves at the homes. So we have creating this awareness in educational institution. We are building the capacity of the teachers, sports teachers, who will engage them in that activities, motivate them, and in the beginning they will engage them in some physical or sports activity at the educational level, and then bring them to the nearby Margalla Hills, for example, for hiking, and then to the rock climbing, and then to the mountaineering and so on. Because we face a lot of much more problems to promote this sport among youth. For example, this sport is needs a lot of time. You have to go in remote areas like Gilgit-Baltistan, where the mountaineering facilities or landscape is available. We need a lot of resources for them. A lot of financial expenditure is involved to travel there. The equipment is very expensive to provide them. We need it is risky game, and very few parents they allow their permit, because when you engage in such activities, youth, you need to have a disclaimer from the participants for any injury or in case of death, and in case of minors you need such disclaimer from their parents or guardian. And we experienced, and we organized these activities without this disclaimer, taking risk at our own. There was some improvement in enrollment. But when we imposed or required this sort of disclaimer from the parents in the educational institutions, most of the educational institution and their legal advisors refused to share that even a disclaimer with the parents. So these are very, very important challenges which are being faced to engage the youth in such mountaineering and trekking activity. But we hope that much more is required. Because after particular devolution, we need to understand the role of different stakeholders. For example, I have pointed about the sports and tourism, main two components at the federal level still exist, and they will have to play their role. Similarly, when we come to the grassroots level, we see that there is a provincial government, there is a district government, there is at the C level and union council level, and they have some sort of sports promotion structures at the grassroots level. But in fact, the sport like mountaineering, we don't have such facility and such sort of structures of the organization at grassroots level. So we are trying hard to push the government. For example, at the federal level, at the provincial level, at the Prime Minister House, we shared all our programs. But we need to build synergies. Particularly, I talked about the STEP program. So in the Federal Directorate of Education and Private School Association, they also have about 400 schools. They have facilitated, they have provided access. They have held some teachers training as well in their educational institutions to attract the youth and students towards this support. But we need to build the synergies. We need to mobilize the resources. We need a patronage of the government. And above all, when we talk about tourism, the tourism industry, corporate sector needs to be pay attention toward this aspect also. I hope with the changing priorities as we have been discussing today at the federal level and the voice is being raised for the patronage of the government. We hope that with that the support of the government and the building the synergies among the stakeholders and encouraging much more, as pointed out by Naila, that need to create new clubs, and we have opened our platform for individual memberships, for affiliation of clubs, for affiliation of even tour operators to join hands to build the synergies. Like we have been doing, holding conferences which the President of Pakistan and so many, dignitaries has appreciated and participated and for example, Ski Federation and Paragliding Gliding Federation and Cycling Federation, they are joining hands with us. We are also holding some sort of, festivals in Kashmir and other areas to attract the youth at grassroots level from Kashmir, different areas.
So I have another very quick question with your experience. There are unsung heroes that we very wrongly call, and I hate to use that word, porters, who make this thing happen. I would, always address them as the high altitude, tourist guide, and not the porters, because that word has a very negative connotation in my opinion. Would you please comment about their safety and further training and grooming to bring them at par with international counterparts?
First of all, I would like to comment on your unsung heroes. I think the government of Pakistan has appreciated and recognized a lot of unsung heroes. They have given them civil awards. They have given them some cash award. Even the chief of the army staff given them some cash award. We need to encourage more, no doubt. A lot of like Shahroz Kashif still waiting for his civil award, although Naila and Sarbaz and many more have been given on the recommendation of Alpine Club of Pakistan. About your safety of the high altitude porter, I think we need to understand the role of the stakeholder, the primary stakeholders and the secondary stakeholders, who have to play their role to provide them safety, to appreciate them, to build their capacity to perform duties, to come at part with the Sherpas. Most of the people expect from the Alpine Club of Pakistan, although we have been training to high altitude crew, trekking guides, and so many actors of the professions of the tourism industry. But due to lack of resources, we could not continue. But I think if the relevant authority, which is governing that rules, regulating that rules, they should play their role more effectively. They should introduce some sort of certification, some sort of their training program, and Alpine Club of Pakistan is ready and can play its role to the extent the technical support is provided. And some organizations are coming forward in the recent time, and we hope that they will get safety. But I still feel they need some, to compete at international level and provide, better service to the foreign mountaineers. They need to groom their personality, their communication skills, and so on. And something is going on. I would like to point out with the help of Army Rattu School and EVK2 CNR and Alpine Club of Pakistan and Gilgit-Baltistan Tourism Department. They have already carried out 2 training programs at Rattu Army School, and these weaknesses are being being covered and developed to compete at the international level.
Thank you very much. Shah Sahab, coming over to you. Could you please briefly tell us, for the audience, what opportunities and challenges we have for these challenging aerial sports?
First of all, I would like to say thank you very much, MPPTDC, Rana Aftab Sahab, and he has organized such a valuable tourism symposium, and he is trying since from 3-4 years to put Pakistan tourism on right track. Thank you very much. So we people people, adventure people, or you can say adventure lover people, we are not actually trained to speak front of so many people. Usually we express ourselves by our actions, which Nazir Sabar has done. He climbed the K2 and he put Pakistan flag on the top of Everest. So actually we, adventure lover people, especially in Pakistan, we are facing so many errors in Pakistan, and I would like to come straight to the errors and problems which we are facing in Pakistan, rather than I say we have done this and that and we have a lot of potentials. Everybody knows we have a lot of potential in Pakistan, even the Google knows much more better than us. So straightforward, coming to the problems on paragliding, the Pakistan is the best place in the world where you can make a world record, and so many world record has been done in Pakistan by foreigners. In 2011, I was the first Pakistani pilot who gained 24,000 meters, 24,000 feet around Raqqa Pushi by non-power gliding, and then this news was very much spread on the internet, and then American Brad Sander, he came, and in first flight he climbed over 27,000 feet. So you can understand that we have perfect weather, perfect climate and perfect atmosphere in Pakistan to promote paragliding. If you compare mountaineering with the paragliding, usually all mountaineers now, they are equally paraglider pilots, and they love to climb the mountain and come down by paraglider. But in Pakistan, we have one very serious disease which is not letting us to promote tourism, and that disease name is NOC. Especially, we need a very serious surgery or vaccine to kill this disease and let us promote Pakistan in tourism industry through tourism and introduce Pakistan such a peaceful country, such a perfect country for foreigners. But again, the NOC is the biggest error in Pakistan. Even day before yesterday, one foreigner lady, she tweeted, and which is very viral now, please let me know where can I ride my motorbike without police protocol in Pakistan. So these kind of problems we are facing, and if you just see in Europe, there are 4 million paraglider pilots, licensed paraglider pilots, and they want to come to Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan has got a 4 season and best mountains, Himalayas, Karakoram, Hindu Kush, and Hindu Raj even. In summer, we can promote this paragliding in northern area of Pakistan, in Hunza, Skardu, and Chitral. And winter, Chakwal is the perfect, even Balochistan is the perfect, and Kashmir is also best. But again, we cannot take our paraglider pilot to this area without NOC. And who is issuing NOC? He is totally non-professional person named a DC, Deputy Commissioner of the areas. Even he cannot recognize the aerial map, but he is issuing the NOC. And which is really very strange, because everywhere in the world, if you go for paragliding, you have to contact and get permission through their national federation, which is my federation in Pakistan named PHPA, Pakistan Hang Gliding and Paragliding. Even the Deputy Commissioner of each region, he cannot recognize the license of the pilots. He don't know the category of the license, and he don't know how to retrieve the pilot, but he is issuing NOC, and he don't know how to control or how to promote the tourism. For example, we have categorized our regions in Pakistan. Open zone, restricted zone, and prohibited zone. In open zone, you can go with the permission of the government of Pakistan. You have to obtain the permit, which is very lengthy and very critical way of getting this permit. And then even you go to the restricted zone, again very difficult. And prohibited zones, you have beautiful mountains, especially in Wakhan corridor, Mantika Pass, the village of the Sadhu Sahib. But even myself, I cannot take my tourists to the areas. Even we can't fly over that area. There is no military installation at all. It's clean, beautiful, and peaceful area. But problem is again that cancer of NOC. Thanks Shahid Saab, he has got initiative to promote winter tourism in Pakistan through tourism sports, but I think you are also facing that problem. So our beautiful country, God has given us such a beautiful country with the 4 seasons, but again we are failed to promote it. Especially now when I talk with the young people and they are asking, we have to develop the tourism in Pakistan. I totally disagree with these people. Tourism was developed in Pakistan before 9/11. Even it was so difficult to get rooms in the hotels, to seat in the flights. We Pakistani people, government of Pakistan and ourselves, we destroyed tourism of Pakistan by ourselves. And now what we need, we have to revive it. First of all, we have to admit our mistakes, which usually people don't like to speak about the mistakes of which we have done, very serious mistakes, to complicated each and everything like the visa policy, like the NOC, the permit of the permission for the expeditions, trekking, mountaineering, so many things. It was so easy before 9/11. For example, I have traveled 86 countries of the world with my tourist group from Japan, but I never ever faced this NOC problem. And before 9/11, we were just bringing our tourists, even you land at Peshawar Airport, Karachi, Lahore, anywhere, you are free to take your tourists anywhere in Pakistan. But now, after getting out of the airport, there are so many agencies, so many checkposts, so many people, they are stopping you and they are asking you about NOC. Even each district deputy commissioner, he never let you go without his NOC. And especially in the Punjab nowadays, which is very serious problem, I will request to Rana Aftab to take it very seriously. Now, what happened in Punjab especially, you can't take your tourists out of the hotels without bulletproof vehicle and police protocol. I am very surprised because tourism is just a player. It's not something like that. If you don't do, you cannot live. There are so many destinations in the world. There's not only Pakistan. Your eastern, western side, southern side, they are so beautiful countries. Why people are coming to Pakistan? Why should they come to Pakistan? This is very serious. You have to think. You have to compete with Nepal. You have to compete with India. You have to compete with China. You have to compete with Iran. You have to compete with Gulf countries. But what we are doing since from 40 years, I am in this field, since from 40 years, I am listening everywhere speech contest. We are very good, very nice to speak, to show our country is beautiful. We have done this, we have done blah, 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 but in action, nothing.
Yes.
I think Rana Aftab, MDPTDC, he belongs from our community. I think he is the first MDPTDC who belongs from the tourism industry.